time to cook with Chef Petrina. So, what are we cooking today, Chef?
Hi, today we're going to be cooking sweet potato, lentil and vegetable soup.
Oh, yummy. It all sounds delicious.
Okay, so because the lentils will take a bit of time to cook, I'm going to get started straight away and I'm going to explain the ingredients that we're going to be using as I go along. So what I'm going to do is just heat up this pan slightly and put about a teaspoon of olive oil. Okay. And I'm just going to put my favorite seeds, which are the coriander and the cumin seeds. Just give it a bit of flavor. And let it sizzle for a while. And I've also got these bay leaves from our garden. Bay leaves are very medicinal in terms of it can help with preventing cancer. So I'm just going to put those in as well, about 6 leaves or so. Let it cook slightly. And then I'm going to add the lentils in. These lentils, I've just washed them. It's not been pre-soaked or anything like that. Depends on which ones you get. So you can actually just do that. These are brown lentils. We've chosen brown instead of the normal yellow ones because they are more nutritious. And lentils, they're high in fiber as well, so it helps with, if you're suffering from constipation and all that. And I'm just going to add some hot water and bring the lentils to a little bit of boil. Can you see there? So this soup that I'm making, it all depends on what you prefer. I normally prefer more ingredients than soup, so it won't be that watery. However, if you're someone who likes more soup than ingredients, then do just add a little more water. So I'm going to cover this and let it cook slightly. And whilst that, I'm just going to cut the red onions that we have. Red onions going to be cut very finely. Now, as we approach, the colder months, it's important to actually eat lots of colors, especially onions, or the ones from the sulfur family, because these will help you prevent the colds and flus and bugs that are going around at the moment. Helps with the immune system. If you've got any phlegm, mucus as well, these are the ingredients that you'll need to actually have a lot more in your daily food. And also what I've done is I've got ginger. Ginger, you actually need to cut it really fine like this, maybe just a thumb size. Really fine like this on the board, and I'm just going to add it in as well. So the red onion is here. I've got sweet potato. Sweet potato I'm going to add as well because sweet potato is quite hard and it's going to be taking a bit more time to cook it down. So with there, we're going to also add some vegetable stock seasoning. I've just used like half a cube and a bit of sea salt as well. So just stir it all in. And let that cook gently. I'm going to add the onions, the garlic, the ginger a bit later because you don't want it to be overcooked as well. Ginger is very good for sort of like motion sickness, cleansing the blood. Again, a very good ingredient that you should have almost every day or every day if you can in your meals itself. I've cut the ginger really fine, as you can see, because some people, they don't like the taste of ginger. So the finer you cut it, the easier it is to actually make it more palatable. And yep, I'm going to add these, the cut ginger, garlic, and also the red onions into the pan as well while it's cooking. So all this goes in, and I'm just going to cook it on very sort of like medium type heat, so it's not boiling. So you'll see all these ingredients will come and cook very gently. Cook there. Whilst waiting all that to be cooked, I'm going to cut I've got tomatoes this here, will give the sweeter flavor and a bit more liquids as well. And I've got a carrot here as well, which I'm going to cut, again, very finely. Cut the carrot very finely. Carrots, as you can see, they're good for the eyes as well. So, this is something you need to eat. You can eat it raw. I'm cutting it with the skin. I'm going to be cooking it slightly with the skin as well. However, you can actually add it raw as well and eat it. As it's just going to add a bit more crunch into the lentil soup itself. So again, the carrots, you just cut it really fine, like into really like dice it into like small little cubes, so it's bite size as well. So this dish really takes like maybe 15 minutes, 20 minutes cook. The longest time that is needed is really for the sweet potato and the lentils. The rest of the ingredients are mainly vegetables, sorry. And these will be cooking very, very quickly, or it doesn't really need to be cooked as well.
That's okay.
So I've done the carrots. I'm gonna do the tomatoes as well. Tomatoes, you can see like this, is very good for the heart. So add that into your meals as much as you can as well. The larger tomatoes is best if you can cook it slightly. Contains something called lycopene. So again, the tomatoes, just dice it correctly, and yeah.
Using my cutting skills.
Yes, I am. Yes, I am.
So
You're
I
pretty
love the
quiet
fact that
here.
everything is so fresh and so colourful, and just it looks so tempting. You just want to just pick up that tomato and eat it as it is.
Yes, I love to buy sort of like fresh food, or have the food as fresh as you can.
Yeah, yeah.
So I actually bought this morning, basically, most of the...
I'm surprised you bought it. I thought you were going to say I picked it out from my tomato tree.
Yes. Unfortunately, it's not in season, not these large tomatoes anyway, so...
Because you grow quite a lot of veg, don't you, in your garden?
We do. Like I said, the bay leaves which I've used,
Yeah.
they're actually from our garden itself.
Yeah,
We've got a huge bay leaf tree.
yeah. And this is why Petrina's food always tastes so refreshing and so healthy, and it smells great.
Yeah.
I think that's one of the biggest aesthetics of food, isn't it? That it should smell good as well. And quite often I find, like even something as simple as coriander, I'll go and buy coriander from a local store, but when I take it home and take out the packet and slice it up or chop it down to put into anything to marinate it, or whether it's just on top to season, it doesn't have that freshness, that smell that you'd usually want from coriander.
Yeah, that's true, exactly true. I'm just going to add a bit of turmeric as well.
Yeah.
Turmeric's good for the health as well, and a bit of paprika.
Yeah. So now now it's all boiled.
Yes.
You're adding the herbs now.
Yeah, I'm adding the herbs, exactly. So I've also got the spring onions here, which I've chopped into sort of like little cubes as well. Going to add that in.
Did you do you soak the lentils beforehand?
No, I didn't. Depends on which lentils you buy, but the ones which I got, it cooks in like 15 minutes or so.
Okay, brilliant.
So all I did was just give them a bit of wash to get rid of any like residue.
Yeah. And they don't have skin, right? These lentils.
The lentils, yeah, no, they're fine. So you can see the soup's a bit dry, so I've got a bit more water. I'm just going to add a bit more water into it as well. That's it. Okay, and then add the tomatoes and carrots in. So the tomatoes got quite a bit of juice as well, so it'll give it a nice flavor.
This looks like the perfect food to have to complement the weather that's just turned so cold so suddenly this morning.
Exactly, which is why I chose this dish as well, because I thought I'll just prepare dishes that are suitable for various weathers.
Yeah, yeah.
So this is like a comfort food, basically.
Yeah,
so,
absolutely. And look at how beautifully
it's all, you can see all the colours already.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
So Petrina, how are you finding the cold weather this morning?
Sorry, how am I?
How did you find the cold weather this morning?
It was good. I mean, it's not too cold, so it's great. It's not as bad as it's going to be later on. So
Yes.
I think we're going to just have to put up with it and get used to it.
Yeah,
and as I say, just take care of yourself, basically.
Apparently it's going to go into zeros and minuses
wow.
over the weekend. So and at some point next week. So we're hoping that
we'll have to get ready then.
Yeah.
Yeah, so these are long beans, which are just also going to just cut into like very tiny cube pieces. Because it's quite fine, these beans. I'm just cutting up with the scissors, sharp scissors. So that's there. Just add it in as well, add more color. And basically, I think we're almost done. Like I said, the main time is basically the cooking of the sweet potato and the lentils. So we'll let that looking really, really colorful right now. And as I said, it all depends. If you like something that's really with a lot more soup, then add more water in a bigger pot. But I normally like it with more ingredients rather than just a lot of just water or soup. If you want it to be smooth as well, what you can do is after this has been cooked, you can also put it in a blender and blend it to make it like a smooth type of soup as well.
Interesting. A lot of people prefer to have soups that are quite chunky though, isn't it?
Yeah, that's right, yeah. You just feel that, well, I'm someone who likes to chew as well, so you find that you're actually chewing a bit more. I'm just going to taste this for a while.
How does that taste?
Looking good? Yep. It's crunchy.
Yeah.
It just needs slightly more cooking. And to finish off, I'm actually going to add these spinach leaves.
Oh.
Spinach, it looks a lot when you put it in, but
withers away.
It actually just goes down really well. So you don't have to like cook it too much. It's just going to cook in the heat. Put it all down here. Just cover it for a while, let it wilt a bit. Going to cut this remaining long beans, which thought it escaped, but it's found. So I'm just going to push this spinach down a bit. And
and obviously for the benefit of our audience who can only see how delicious that looks.
Yeah.
We are in the studio and we can honestly smell the freshness and the herbs of the soup itself. Like, it's wafting through the studio towards me, and I'm very, very excited to taste that. But before we go on, let's get a list of that recipe up. So those are all the ingredients on your screen for sweet potato, vegetable and lentil soup, my lovely viewers. And if you are interested in making this, please quickly take a quick picture with your phones so that you can have it in your phones forever and ever and ever. And do try and make it at home because it looks delicious, tastes delicious. Well, it will taste delicious, and it certainly smells very good.
Okay, so as I said, just let it simmer for a while. Everything's more or less cooked. The spinach, not to worry about it. It looks a bit raw, but it will just simmer down. You don't really want to overcook any of these vegetables as well because it just destroys the nutrients.
So a lot of people use those soup makers nowadays. How do you feel about them?
It's great, but I personally like to just cook it from scratch and all that. So it's totally up to you. Like I said, you can actually blend this soup to make it sort of like creamy and soup, sort of like smooth.
Yeah.
Rather than having it to digest, sort of like to chew. But it's totally a personal preference. And you can see the spinach already going down a treat. And that's the soup almost ready. And I'm just going to garnish it with some coriander, chopped coriander and mint as well. You can add chives as well. I couldn't actually find any today, so we're just going to make do with coriander and chives, coriander and mint.
Okay.
But that's it. And I'm also going to garnish it with a bit of fried onion, just to give it a bit of more flavor and taste. And we're basically done.
It sounds amazing. So, whilst Petrina is plating up, we're going to just remind you that she's made us some delicious soups this morning, and we are looking forward to tasting it. So, and all of, let's show on the screen the ingredients again. So if any of you missed it earlier, do take a little picture of that so that you can replicate the recipe at home. And obviously, if there are any vegetables in there that you or your family members don't like, you always have the option to replace them with an alternative vegetable. Even with the lentils, Petrina, correct me if I'm wrong, but they can change the lentil type, right, if they want?
Yeah, they can. There are red lentils. I've chosen the brown ones. You've got the ones which are lots of like darker.
Yeah, yeah.
The ones which I would avoid is the yellow lentils, you know,
Right.
the ones we normally use for dal.
For dal, yeah.
Yeah, because it's just less nutritious.
Ah,
You know, if you
okay.
look at the colors, the food normally says, you know, the darker the colors, the more nutritious it is.
Wow,
So that's why we're
amazing.
going for the brown lentils today.
Brilliant. And thank you so much for telling the audience that. So for anyone who didn't know already, the darker the lentil or the darker the vegetable, the more nutritious it is. And there you go. That's why we don't promote you to make soup out of the usual dal lentil, but more the lentil that Petrina has made her soup with today. So now we have reached the end of our show, but let's go back to Petrina and see how the food is looking.
Okay, so I've served up. Over here, you can see the soup.
Yeah, we're going to
Here.
zoom into that.
Yeah, zoom into that.
It looks absolutely delicious. It's colourful, it's fresh, it's healthy. I cannot wait to taste it. And now we have reached the end of our show. Thank you so much, Chef Petrina, for joining us in the studio and yet again cooking another delectable dish.